What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Walmart exclusive Ares Build-A-Figure Wave Human Torch or Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four. So we did see what he looked like in the packaging just a bit ago. Now we are getting into the full review. But real quick, I will show you guys what the packaging looks like again. I did try to keep it in very good condition as I opened it up, but this is what it looks like in case you're curious. And so we have the comic art on the side, which I think is a really nice touch. I think Hasbro should bring stuff like this back to their packaging. It looks really good. It promotes the figure well. And yeah, it's just a very nice aesthetic, I think, to have, especially if you're an inbox collector. So this is some pretty nice packaging. You can see right there, only at Walmart. It was a Walmart exclusive when it came out, which was 2008. So yeah, this is a pretty old figure at this point. Ages 4 and up at the top, you can see there. And then we have the Build-A-Figure of Ares right here in the bottom corner. And then on the back again, we have all the figures in the wave that you need to build Ares, with a read-up at the top and some stats for Mr. Human Torch, Mr. Johnny Storm. So if you want to, hear the description read and all of his stats, be sure to watch my, first look video of him. I didn't unbox him, but we just took a look at him in the package, so that should be up before this review is. So if you want to hear all that, make sure to watch that video. But yeah, Hasbro and Marvel. So yeah, there you go. That is the packaging. Now, getting to the figure. So this figure, in my opinion, is probably one of the best Johnny Storm Human Torch figures that Hasbro's ever made. Honestly, that just may have ever been produced, period, in this scale, the 1/12 scale. I've seen a lot of the more recent Human Torch figures that came out, and none of them ever really grabbed my attention enough to want to get them. I'm pretty picky, I guess, when it comes to the Human Torch as far as design and how it looks, and none of them just really were speaking to me enough to want to grab it. But this one changed everything. This is my first Human Torch figure ever, as I can recall. I don't think I ever had any as a kid, but yeah, this one definitely grabbed my attention. Shout outs to Carbon Scoring on YouTube, because he is the one who introduced me to this figure and made me want to get it. He has a really cool mystery box section or category in his channel, where he basically takes a box or a bin of old figures that he has from a particular usually a particular type of hero or heroes. So he had a Fantastic Four mystery box video where he took out a bunch of old Toy Biz and Hasbro Fantastic Four figures, and this happened to be one of them. So it caught my attention pretty much right away, just purely off of the aesthetics, which I think are some of the best that have ever been done on a toy like this. I just really enjoy the paintwork on this one. There's a really nice combination of translucent plastic with the more solid and opaque plastic. So you can see on certain parts of his body, he's got more of the translucent color going. So for the the diaper piece, a little bit in his torso, and then as well as the head sculpt, straight up translucent plastic. You can kind of see through there, right? And even in the neck. And then you have the more solid or opaque parts that you can't really see through, such as his legs and arms. They're done in a more solid color, a lot of paint work. But the paint is just applied, I think, exceptionally well on this one, because the mix of the orange and yellows, I think, just goes very well with hints of red here and there to really give him a flame look. He just looks, the fire that's supposed to be going throughout his body, I think, really looks alive on this figure. Just the way that they chose to place the orange and the yellow paint. So you can see the yellow tends to kind of highlight his muscle groups. So you can see in the legs, for the quads, you got some yellow kind of going right there, but then the majority of his leg is orange. And yeah, I just think that everything was strategically placed in a very good manner, so that the fire like actually looks like it's, you know, roaring around his body like from the inside out. And I like that they chose to put, you know, those hints of red in the torso because, you know, he heats up from his core, so pretty much like his center, and then, you know, the fire spreads throughout his body. So I like the fact that you have like that red color in his torso, even though I believe that the red is like supposed to be the coolest part of the flame, and I think the yellow is actually the hottest part. But I still like how that looks, you know, just having the red right there in the chest and kind of going down towards like the abs. I think that looks really good. And yeah, this is just a very, very nice looking Human Torch figure in my opinion. And it was the one that I wanted to go for. I found out that there was a lot of releases that I had never seen before, that, you know, both Hasbro and Toy Biz released. But like I said, you know, the ones that I saw growing up, I never really gravitated towards them. They just didn't really capture my interest, I guess just because of things like the paintwork and stuff just weren't, you know, my favorite. But I really like this one. Not only like the paintwork, but the mold of him. I think the body type is pretty much perfect for Johnny Storm. His physique, you know, he's always kind of like slim and has like the more lean look, kind of like Spider-Man. And this body type is pretty similar to the Pizza Spider-Man body. It's definitely not the same, but it is kind of similar as far as the overall build. Very slim from the side, and then you have, you know, the shoulders and arms are also like kind of lanky, but they do have muscle definition in them. So yeah, I really like this overall physique for Johnny. I think it looks really good, very appropriate. So yeah, let's put him on the rotating display stand so we can get a 360 look, and then so you can get a full idea of his details all the way around. All right, so here he is on the rotating display stand. We'll get him spinning here. So there is your, oh, there he goes falling. All right, let me adjust his feet. He does have pretty big feet. His right leg, I was afraid it was gonna be warped when I first got it out the packaging, just because the way they had it packaged, his leg was kind of at an awkward angle, so I was afraid that it was going to stress the plastic and kind of warp it, and he would have difficulty standing. But it seems like, you know, after getting him out and kind of repositioning the leg, it wasn't too bad. It seemed like he was able to stand pretty well, so hopefully he doesn't fall right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's a little unbalanced just because of the wonkiness of the right leg. Let's see if we can straighten it out a bit. Okay, there we go. Put this up here. Stay, Johnny, stay. Ah, he keeps falling. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Let's just forget about the display stand for right now, and I'll just give you a 360, just because I feel like he's not going to be able to balance too well on top of that display stand. But here's how he looks from the back, which is very nice. You know, the paint apps are good, you know, all the way through, which I really like. They did not slack on the back. Back looks just as good as the front. And yeah, I really like how that looks. Like, again, that red color in his back, and you can see, like, you know, the sculpted muscles for his back, the red moving through the diaper piece and everything. Really good. And then you have like these red tips for the flames, these little flame pieces that they put like around his forearms and even at the top, you know, kind of creeping over his back and like around his head. I really like how that looks. Very cool. But yeah, just very nice overall paint work. And again, like I said, I think it's a really nice use of translucent plastic, combining that with the you know, the more solid plastic. Knowing where to put it in certain areas, I think gives him a really nice aesthetic. So yeah, here's kind of like the side, here's the other side. So yeah, there you go. So aesthetically, yeah, this guy, you know, really gets a high score for me. I didn't do a clean figurine scale for this guy. I may do one after the review and put it in the description for you guys. But this is an older figure. There he goes falling again. 2008, so the articulation is pretty dated. And then also given like the lack of accessories and stuff, you know, I don't want to. It's almost like unfair to give him a clean figurine scale. I usually only do that for the more, later 2000s figures from Hasbro, where the articulation is a lot better and we tend to get, more effects parts and things like that. But I may put one in the description, so just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I do think he looks very good overall. And then again, as far as accessories, really all he comes with is the I think this is, what is this, the right arm? Forget if it's the right or the left arm. For him, this is the left arm. Yes, this is the left arm for the Ares Build-A-Figure. And yeah, you can see, it's pretty nicely detailed. The paintwork is a bit fuzzy. You can see right there as the wrap for his arm comes closer to the, I guess the bicep or whatever. Right there, you can see like the line right there. They could have used like some more brown paint inside so that, the flesh tone is kind of creeping onto that wrap. So that's not great, but overall it does look pretty nice. Same thing on this side. And then of course they painted the hair on his arm, so it does look kind of funny. Just kind of looks like black streaks that they painted on, but yeah, that is the Build-A-Figure left arm for Ares that comes with him. And then he also comes with a quick little instructions sheet to show you how to build Ares, when you get all the parts, how to snap them together. It tells you, all the figures in the wave that you need to get and what part comes with them. And then yeah, just a little diagram showing you how to put it together. So that's cool. I doubt I would, get all the figures in the wave. I don't. I mean, I might want to build Ares at some point, but I don't think I want to get all the figures in the wave just to build him. I rarely ever have been intrigued enough by the Build-A-Figures unless it was like a character I really wanted to get all the characters in the wave. Like, yeah, it would take a while. And it's a lot of money right there. So if I can find a way to build a figure, with just like loose parts or something from somebody, usually that's a better option for me. But yeah. But anyways, back to this guy. As far as articulation, for the head, he is on a hinge that allows him to look up pretty well. I wish it would go back a little bit farther so that you could do flight poses a little bit better. I mean, he could still get into a flight pose, but it would look a lot better if his head was able to go back a bit farther. So you have that. He is able to look down pretty far though, so that's good. Straighten him out here. You can see that he can tuck his chin in pretty nicely. Bring the head up. He does have rotation side to side. You can actually go 360 all the way around like that. And no real like expressive posing, no tilting of the head side to side really. Again, older figure, so that's to be expected. We have ball hinge shoulders that allow him to raise the arms up very, very high, better than a 90 or 180 degrees, much better than a T-pose. He can do a wide pose really, get the arms way above the head like that, so that's good. Really nice range with the ball hinge shoulders. And he doesn't even have like a butterfly joint or anything like that, but these being ball hinge shoulders, you can kind of manipulate how the which direction that the hinge is going to go. And so when you get the hinge facing in a way where you push the arms backwards behind him, do it to both arms, he's actually able to get a lot of range going back. So putting the arms back behind himself, he can go all the way back like that far. That is really good range. I mean, honestly, that's comparable to like modern day butterfly joints as far as like how far his arms can go back. That's really, really good. And mind you, he doesn't even have butterfly joints. He only has ball hinge shoulders. So that's very good, especially for the time. For a 2008 figure, that's pretty good range. So there you go. And then of course you can bring them forward pretty nicely as well. It's not gonna give you any real cross the body movement, like across the torso. And that's because of how the mold is and the range that you get from the ball hinge shoulders. But you can at least kind of bend his elbows to kind of cross his arms like that. Speaking of which, we have a bicep swivel, which is pretty nice. Nice cut there. Good bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, which work really well. He's able to get plenty of range, bending the arm towards himself like that. You can extend back out. He has horizontal hinges for the hands, so they can hinge towards his body and away from the body like that. And he does have rotation in the wrist for both sides, so you can rotate his fist. On this side, he has a open hand. So yeah, same type of movement on each side. He has a ab crunch joint, so you can see like the clear cut for the ab crunch, which allows him to crunch forward that much, which is okay, and crunching backwards about that much, which is about the same. So decent, could be better, but it's an ab crunch, so those typically aren't as good as for range as, like, I'd say, a diaphragm joint with a double ball peg setup, but not too bad, not too bad. And then we have a cut at the waist, so we get a nice waist swivel side to side. He could go all the way around if you wanted him to. Could be facing backwards like that. But yeah, let's bring it back to the front here. The legs have really good range for out to the side. So again, it has those ball hinges, somewhat similar to the Cyclops that we just looked at, but with him, these are straight up, ball and hinge. So they're actually a little more similar to the McFarlane Spider-Man. But the hinge is on the side, when you first get it out of packaging, and that's like his normal way of standing up. So when you push that, you bring the legs out to the side. Let's see, let me make sure the hinge, oh yeah. See, I gotta readjust the hinge on this leg. Okay, yeah. When you get it to where it's positioned out to the side, you can really get some nice splits, like perfect splits going. So you get his legs all the way out to the side, which is nice. And then without, really messing with the hinge, just kicking up, straight up and out. Not the best. He goes up just a little bit shy of a 90 degrees. I mean, it's not bad, but it's definitely like a dated design. So he's not going to get the best range as far as kicking up, but that's not too bad. And then as far as going backwards, that's actually decent. You can actually go back about that far, which is comparable to like a modern Marvel Legends. And that's without me even manipulating the hinge. If you were to manipulate the hinge and bring the ball kind of like more forward, in case you were wondering if that's going to help him like kick up any further, I tried it, and honestly, no, not really. If anything, it's just going to make his leg come more out to the side instead of like straight forward. So you probably don't want that anyways. So I would just leave, the hinge facing the outside like it's supposed to. So yeah, there is that. He does have a cut for a thigh swivel. So he gets a nice thigh swivel up here. Very nice, works well, it's smooth. And then you have double jointed knees. Get him kicking up or that far back. Comes back down. He has a hinge in the foot. Pretty big feet on this guy. You know what they say about big feet. All right, and then you have, he can hinge about that far back. Pretty much get on his tippy toes, and then he can kick forward with the foot about that much, which I think is pretty good. And then no real ankle pivot or swivel, anything like that. Actually, it does swivel actually at the ankle. I take that back. It does rotate at the foot side to side, but no like rocker or pivot, so he can't roll his ankles. But that's not too bad, not too shabby. He does have peg holes on the bottom of his foot, even though he doesn't come with any stands or anything to plug him into. But yeah. That's pretty much it, I think, for articulation. I show his arms can, of course, windmill 360. I don't think I showed that yet. And And yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as articulation. Yeah, so not a bad batch of articulation, especially for the time. This being a 2008 figure, this is actually some pretty solid articulation for the time being. Because articulation then is definitely not what it is now, or what it was now. So he's got like a little bit of a splotch right there of paint on the abs. You can see a little, almost like a, not even black. I think it actually looks translucent. So yeah, I'm thinking his whole entire torso section was like originally molded in translucent plastic, and then they just painted the colors on top. So you get like the yellow paint right here. So a little bit of it might have scraped off right there, and that exposed a little bit of the translucent in that spot on his abs right there. But again, not too bad. I really like that they painted the eyes yellow too, so that they stand out from his face, because his face is entirely translucent. But so like the yellow against the orange really kind of helps his eyes pop, so you can see where they are. And I really like the overall sculpt of his face as well, because it really does look like a comic Johnny Storm. He's got a very like chiseled physique, square jaw and everything. And it really does remind me of the comics. It actually looks like the comic art that we saw on the side of the box. I'm bringing that back in. This is like what he looks like on the comic art, right? And that is like the overall, shape of his face, how they drew him. So I really like that the figure actually represents that, because a lot of times, like especially with like the more modern day Marvel Legends, Hasbro will put really good pictures. They tend to use a lot of digital renders now, but for a while they would use like really good pictures of a figure, and then the figure itself wouldn't look anything like the art that they put on the box, which kind of like took away from the figure. But this one I think actually matches the comic art on the packaging, which is really nice. So that's nice to see. And yeah, let's look at him from the back again. Some of those details, I like that they did kind of sculpt in some of the wrinkles like in his back, because keep in mind he is wearing a suit, right? He's not naked or anything. He is wearing his Fantastic Four suit, and this is actually a reuse, of course, Hasbro. This is a reuse mold from a figure that came out in the Ronin Build-A-Figure wave. So I guess that wave came out before the Ares one. And this figure is pretty much an entire reuse of that Ronin Build-A-Figure wave Human Torch. Exact same mold, pretty much. Just imagine him, in his blue Fantastic Four costume, and then he's kind of like partially flaming flaming up. So he's got like these, I believe it's the same, fire pieces that go around his arms, legs, and right here. And then I think the only real difference with that Ronin figure is that his hair is a different sculpt. Like his hair sticks up very high off of his head, and it's like all orange. It kind of looks like weird. It's kind of crazy. I've heard somebody say that he looks like a Dragon Ball Z character, and he kind of does. But yeah, I believe everything else is pretty much exactly the same. I think like the face and the body are pretty much entirely reused from that figure. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Ronin wave came out before the Ares one, so that figure I believe was before this one. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I think that's how it goes. And yeah, but yeah, just a very nice, aesthetically done figure. I think. I wish Hasbro would put this type of effort into some of the modern day Marvel Legends figures, because I think this guy goes hard, man. Like aesthetically, I think he really gets the job done. And of course, the articulation is dated, but I still think it holds up pretty well, for what it's able to do. I think you can definitely put it in with some of your modern Marvel Legends, and he'll look, very good. I noticed there was like a little bit of paint missing right here on his torso in the center, like on the 4 on his chest. And let's get some focus on that. You can see there's like a little bit of like yellow peeking through the red right here. Maybe some of that red got scraped off. Not a big deal though. And yeah, I was happy to get this guy brand new. I really wanted to get him in the packaging.
I saw some listings of him like loose, but I really wanted to get the package so that I could show you guys what some of that old school Hasbro packaging looked like. So yeah, what else did I want to say for this guy? I mentioned carbon scoring. He introduced me to this figure with his mystery box video. There is a really good like comparative review on YouTube. I'll have that linked in the description, where this guy has pretty much like all, maybe not all, but a lot of the Human Torches from like all the way back to Toy Biz, up until like more modern. I mean, he filmed it years ago, so I think this was like one of the most recent figures that he had, that he was showing off in the video, but he was comparing like a bunch of the different Johnny Storm releases from Hasbro and Toy Biz. So yeah, I will have that in the description if you want to check that out. And I saw the new Fantastic Four about a month ago. I really did like it. I'm gonna have a review for it up on the channel. I thought it was pretty good overall. I liked their take with it, how they handled it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'll talk more about that when I actually review it. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I still like, however, the original, the older movies like from 2005 and Rise of the Silver Surfer. I think that was 2007. Those are the movies that I grew up with. And so when I saw this new one, I actually wanted to go back and, rewatch those old ones. So I did. And yeah, I still love those old ones. Like everything, I think the casting was great for those older ones. The music was really good. So I did get like a wave of those figures that Toy Biz made from those older movies coming in. So I got a bunch of those to review. So expect some more Fantastic Four reviews coming very, very soon. Most of them, based off of those movies. But just to kick it off with Fantastic Four, I thought we would start with this guy. And yeah, I think he is a very worthy addition to the collection for sure. I think he goes very hard. So yeah, you guys let me know down in the comments what you think about this guy. But yeah, I think he looks great. And yeah, just very, very well done. I think if Hasbro put like half of the effort that they put into this guy into some of the more modern stuff that's been coming out, we would have, some really good figures. And as collectors, I think we would be a little more happy. Same thing with the packaging style too. I think the packaging style goes a lot harder than what they put out now. But, that's just me. Anyways, let's get into some size comparisons. And then we shall call it a day. All right, so I can get him standing here. Let's see. Again, yeah, his legs are a bit wonky. It's mostly just the right leg, really, that's kind of bent, which gives him a little bit of trouble. The left leg seems to be pretty much fine. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I think if I get him like right there, okay, I think he should be fine. And then we'll move this back. Alrighty. And there he goes. Nope. All right, come on, Johnny, work with me. And one of the reasons I also wanted to review this guy is because I noticed on YouTube there aren't very many reviews of this particular version of him. And the ones that are up, aren't in like the best quality because, they were filmed so long ago. So cameras back then weren't what they are now. So I really wanted to get this guy in high def so that you guys could see the really dope, amazing details on him, just how nice he looks. So yeah, that was another reason for reviewing this one right here. I forgot to mention there's also a variant of this guy, pretty exact same mold, very similar except the paint apps are different. On that one, it's there's a lot more red in him, and then he also has like these white like lines that look kind of like electricity, as if like electricity's going through his body. And they call that one the Nova variant, as if he's going like supernova. So I guess he's supposed to look like hotter, so they put like more red in his paint apps and stuff. That one looked cool, but I still think this one looks a lot cooler. The white lines that they put on that other version actually kind of like ruined it for me. I don't really care for that look so much. I think it looks kind of like lazy. It doesn't look too realistic, but But I get what they were going for, so I appreciate that they made the Supernova variant. Maybe one day I'll pick it up, but for now, I just like this, standard flame on Human Torch Johnny Storm. So, getting into size comparisons, let's get to it. I'll bring in some older Toy Biz figures first. So first up, we have the Spider Sense Spider-Man from Toy Biz. This is that red and blue release with the white eyes. All right, and then we have the Pizza Spider-Man from Hasbro. So now you can see like the somewhat similar physique that they both have. Okay, him and Johnny Storm, similar but also kind of like pretty different as well. Definitely not the same mold. So there is that. I think they scale pretty good. I gotta hurry because I'm running out of time here. Here is Mafex Daredevil with him. Here is the Android figure from G.I. Joe. So there you have that. All right. I think they scale pretty well. He's definitely the tallest of the three. All right. And then we have a ZD Toys Thanos. Okay. Obviously much bigger. Here is the Cyclops that we just looked at from the Sentinel Build-A-Figure Wave by Toy Biz. And yeah, those scale all right. So there you have that. Move these aside. We'll bring in for a Mafex, we have in-game Thor, or Fat Thor. And then we have, for an SH Figure Arts, we got the Dragon Ranger, or Mighty Morphin Green. Right there. Let's back it up just a bit so you guys can see a little better. There you go. Alright, so I think those work pretty well. Sorry I'm moving quick, guys. I gotta get through all these figures before the video ends. It is gonna cut off soon. Here is the Marvel Legends Taskmaster right here. And here is a Maxim Series Spider-Man next to him. For an SH Figure Arts, here is the Mark 6 Battle Damaged Iron Man. And for Lightning Collection, a In Space Pink Ranger. So yeah, there it is, guys.